But Japan had many conditions, special conditions for industrialization. For example, Japan had natural resources. A very important natural resource was coal. Coal is the carbon?
Yeah.
Coal. And without carbon, it was impossible to have steel, to have many things, or too expensive. Chile didn't have coal. Or to have an industrialization, it is necessary to have special demographical tendencies. It is important the density of the population and the increase of this density in the time, because the industrialization depends not only of foreign markets and demands of foreign markets, of domestic markets are very, very important. It's not only necessary to have the population, because you have, for example, in Africa, population, they increase the population, they don't have, you have together with population to have other conditions. Maybe that was why Chile didn't the industry, but not because the liberal politics, maybe.
Yeah, okay, so I think one thing you kept emphasizing was that because Chile opened their borders and had this commercialized trade, that was not the reason why Chile was underdeveloped, but because of certain conditions that it lacked, such as, I guess, having skilled, like, while you have laborers, they weren't necessarily skilled in the sense that they, I guess, in terms of stimulating industrial development. And then you did talk about, like, agriculture. They had implemented some agricultural reforms, but at the same time, they were using primitive technology, so there's lack of technology.
Thank you. We to socialism.
I posted it on Blackboard, so if you guys want to copy it. And I'm still working on, I'm going to just add a little bit more. I'm going to talk about it today, about the Cuba, socialism in Cuba, the particular Cuba case. But I'm going to still add a little bit more on Blackboard.
The first question, why socialism in 19th century before?
Why did it develop?
Yeah, why?
Socialism developed for a variety of reasons, but I would say first of all because of the actual physical conditions that was happening due to industrialization and modernization. People were moving to the cities. There was more like factories being developed, and what happened was the argument initially came from what Marx and Engels were writing, and they said that basically there's become two classes now. There's become the industrial workers, and then there's become the capitalists or the bourgeoisie. They're managers, the owners of the company, and the industrial workers are at the whims of what the managers want, and also the managers can control how much their wages, and the managers, because they control the capital, the means to production, and they own the tools, they own the ways to produce goods, they end up receiving the benefit. And so while the workers are working very hard,
did you hear about the utopian socialists before Marx and Engels, Friedrich Engels? Before?
No, I
haven't. No? Oh, okay.
I haven't.
Because this statement came from the French utopian socialists. They are other people.
Yeah. And so anyway, so the argument was that there had now become, and just throughout the world, it used to be, later was applied throughout the world in different kind of individual applications, but there were there were like the poor people that had to do the work for the people who owned either the land or the factories, and they were the proletariats, and then the rich people were the ones that controlled the things and benefited from their labor.
And do you agree with us? Or
At
not?
that time period?
Yeah.
I do agree.
But I don't agree. Agree.
Well, we can have a debate.
I don't agree, really.
We can. I mean, like in the I think like in the I mean, it depends. I think in Latin America it was different.
No, of course, I agree. There were, and that is the essential question: why socialism? There were problems, social problems.
Yeah.
That is the essential question.
Yeah.
But why the problem is, I don't agree with the statement of Engels. I think it was a mistake, because Engels thought in this classical book about the Lage der Arbeiter in England, Engels thought that the industrialization produced the misery, poverty, etc. But in this time,
That's true.
1847, there were agrarian crises.
Yeah.
And that was the cause.
Yeah.
And the agrarian crises were in 18th century, 17th century, nothing to do with industrialization.
Yeah.
That's just-
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. As a large scale concept, I think it's true that. I mean, the point was like the capitalist order. Although it's like useful, and although you can achieve things like, so maybe it was it's kind of like maybe it was necessary to develop investment and to get people interested in building factories and growing crops. There comes a point where, I mean, I'm not a communist, I'm not a socialist, but I think that I'm more like, I feel like at this point there were actual problems. Like, there was large discrepancies of wealth. There were people who were actually starving, and
No.
and so I think there needs to find a balance.
Yeah, but what I would like to highlight is that there were symptoms of very, very profound social, economical, political changes, and there were the life situation of millions of people were very bad, like today. And in regard to this situation, you have an answer. Why socialism? You have the why. But the thesis of the people you can discuss, because this thesis about that the industries were the cause, or that the modern commercial relations were the cause of that. There were the liberals were very, very critics too in front of this situation, and socialists too, and many moments.
Interesting. I guess we don't focus on that right
Yeah.
now. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit more about like the basic concepts. I mean, first, as I said, like the goal was to improve life and living conditions for more marginalized groups. So like the proletariats, the people who did not control capital, the workers, or people who were peasants that worked on the land, for example. It was later applied to that. Second, I mean, with that in mind, it just improved quality of life. It also wanted to have more, to like reduce inequalities, so and prevent the social stratification. And so eventually, there wouldn't be these classes where the haves and the have-nots.
Let me ask how, because this discussion is a world discussion, but how came to Latin America these ideas?
Oh, sure, yeah. Let's go. So basically, these ideas came to Latin America first through literature, from influence from Europe, and then later it came from different varieties. I mean, there was a spread of ideas, but later it came from immigrants, actually, like from Italy or Spain that had formerly worked in,
Yeah, and